Live with Steve and Justin. We're doing 20, whatever I wrote, 64 to 16 to 8 to 4 live. If you saw it this weekend, you are amazed on what happened. I am shocked and appalled in some aspects and happy as hell in others. Right tonight on Sports Live with Steve and Justin and the former rabbi. There it is. There you have it. There it goes. Hello, everybody. Mr. Elder today, Keith.
Yes,
I like better that he is the rabbi of all things basketball.
That's it. I am the basketball rabbi. I'm sorry, I had a little work done this week, so I have to. I'm
wear a mask.
Okay, good. Okay. Whew, sorry. How's it look? A little bit of
looks good. It's like, did you ever see that movie with Humphrey Bogart where he's a gangster and he has his face changed, and then he goes back into his life, and I don't remember the name of it, and he goes back into his life and he sees all the people that wronged him, and they don't.
Yeah. I'm blanking on the name. If we were doing movie talk, I would know that one, but I don't have the movie thing going today. I don't know why. I feel
well,
bad.
I'm
drawing a blank.
I'm doing I'm watching select things on the Criterion Collection.
Ooh, I got that too. I actually, speaking of Bogart, I just watched The Harder They Fall about 3 weeks ago, and I think that's an absolute masterpiece. But yeah, no, I got that Criterion channel too, and it's great. I can watch
I just watched Being There.
Oh, Peter Sellers.
Peter Sellers, great movie. And what else did we watch? I can't think. What are you doing there, Justin? Do you want me to just delete you today? What is that?
I'm trying to send messages to people so they can tune in live.
Well, if they go on YouTube, it works. I don't know how to do it on Facebook, but you're welcome to try.
I'm a huge fan of Being There. It's one of my favorite films ever. What do you think of can we do spoiler alerts on this? I mean, it's sports. Nobody here is going to be watching.
Spoiler alerts. I think that we learn that he's a supernatural. My girlfriend thought that he was an angel. Okay. And he's so pure that he doesn't know anything bad.
I mean, it's such a strange ending to a weird film to start with.
When he takes the umbrella and sticks it, sticks it in the water, you're like, if you haven't watched it, you have no idea what we're talking about, as Justin does in his Lou Kornacek sweater that he bought at American Eagle 17 years ago before it went out of business. They had a special.
That's close.
They had a special on XXX, and he was able to get it. It was on the sale rack right next to the $80 American flag rugby shirts.
It's got a nice Scottish feel to it, though. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm in the Wicker Man or something. It's
the Wicker Man. He's really the Highlander. We're going to see this bright light.
The bright light is coming. I'll be in the remake.
This is where everybody turns us off. I got to tell you. So.
We're like doing 5 minutes of movie stuff here.
Listen, I don't really care if they turn us off. I really, I appreciate everyone watching us. I appreciate a lot of things, but this show is what it is, and we work real hard at it, and we do zero. I don't know what working real hard at is. We buy a lot of equipment to get it to work. How about that? And then we. And then we spend no time for preparation, but we do watch a lot of sports all of a sudden. Like I would never watched all the games. I would have never watched all the 64 games, and I saw some great games. We talked about them last week. There were some great games over the course of this week. I mean, to even think, I mean, first of all, you learned that Arizona, you better. Sports all of a sudden. Like, would you turn that off?
Sorry. I don't know why that came on.
Sorry.
All right, I'm done fidgeting.
I just got older. That was, I already checked all that, dude. The Arizona, you know, the first, you thought that they were going to take the whole thing, and you know,
well, the Arizona game was something. I mean, you know,
the first one, yeah.
They've steamrolled a lot of teams. Oh, you know, and I think Purdue was the first team that really got them to slow down a little bit. And, you know, Painter did a great job controlling the pace in that game. I mean, they moved the ball around brilliantly. Kaufman-Wren had a great game. And they still got beat by 15. You know, it's like the thing with Arizona is they all season long they've been playing these high scoring games. They put 109, hung 109 on Arkansas. They had like 100 points with 5 minutes left, and like Tommy Lloyd could have taken a nap at the end of that game. But then Purdue comes out. Painter has a great game plan to control the pace. He does it. He executes it, and they lose 76-61. I mean, so like Arizona. My concern with Arizona is if you get him out of an up tempo type pro type game, how do they play? Well, Purdue did that, and how they played was really well, and they helped Purdue, who's a great offense, to 61 points. So it's like, what do you do with that team? Yeah, except put them against Michigan.
Yeah, I think Arizona kind of made their stamp entering the Final Four, because I think until this weekend we thought maybe the Big Ten was the measuring stick for this tournament.
Hold on, who's fumbling with their microphone that it's coming up and I heard banging in my ear?
Not me.
I'm gonna blame the rabbi. All right, just be careful with your. Yeah,
sure.
Right. Yeah. Because we're getting a lot of like ruffling of whatever. But anyway, go back. Go back, Justin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought we thought the Big Ten was the measuring stick for this tournament with so many teams in, and then with what do they have? 5 teams in the Sweet 16. So coming into the tournament from the start, I made the comment that I didn't think St. John's was very good because I didn't think those Big East teams were very good. And here we are. UConn got a gift from Michigan State. Not to take anything away from them, but Michigan State did not shoot well in the first half of that game. I think they were 4-16 from 3. At one point, they missed like 12 baskets in a row, 12 field goals in a row. They did come back in that second half, and they made it a game, and it went right down to the wire. But UConn was pretty much in control. But Michigan State really laid an egg there, and then Duke has them on the ropes. I mean, what more could you want if you're Duke? 17-point lead.
Yeah, 19. Actually, I turned the game off 44-25 and went to sleep. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you see that St.
All he got
John's?
was a text that said, "Wow."
Did you see that St. John's booster? Some billionaire came out and he said, "Well, I'm not going to let this happen next time."
So it's a little bit of a slap in the face to the kids that are there, because they've given a lot to the program.
Oh my God.
St. John's still has that, draw. Obviously, with Patino there, it's like, I mean, it's just a circus. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's the circus is in town when St. John's comes, and they're coming to play. So it might be, as long as Patino's there, I know he's older now, it's a destination. Madison Square Garden is still a destination.
And they extended him. So
the people who are the parents of the kids that are going to these schools now are from our generation, and they can relate to the Big East and what it was like 30 years ago and what it meant to play there. So good for them. I mean, I think it's still coming. It's not the same as it used to be, but here we are. We talked about, it was hard for me anyway not to chalk the bracket. There were some upsets, but no Cinderellas really in this tournament at all.
So not to interrupt you, but Dom texted me, and he said that he said that it looked like you had to keep with the movie theme. You had one of the icon ceremonial death masks from Ocean's 11. There any money in those things?
I don't know. I got about 10,000 in my backyard, so I'm gonna see.
Don't let them fool you. What is it? He says, "Don't let them fool you. There's a ton of monies, but you got to be able to move them." But he just got out of jail, and then he says, to keeping with that theme, that the rabbi looks like somebody from the Rat Pack with that hat on. So anyway.
Thank you very much. I always
you should get a bowl of soup with that hat.
Looking guy, you know. Justin, you look at me, you think Peter Lawford, right?
Definitely Rat Pack. Sure, why not?
Yeah. Peter Lawford, though, I got that Peter Lawford vibe going.
Just remember, Peter Lawford was married to Kennedy's sister, so
yes, he was. I think that's what got me into that. I was listening to the Kennedy podcast, and I just started thinking about Peter Lawford. I free associate a little bit.
It's always fun when we cross pollinate the podcast.
The St. John's game was interesting. I mean, Duke, you saw this trend with Duke the whole tournament where they let teams hang around and they just did not have the killer instinct on teams. They let Siena hang around. The St. John's game, but let me talk about St. John's real quick. Patino's a great coach, but sometimes he does stuff that boggles my mind. Ruben Prey comes out, shoot 4 for 4 from 3-point range. He's in a groove, hot hand, blah, blah, blah. Takes him out. It's like Pitino has these brilliant ideas, and he's one of the greatest thinkers. I mean, he's really one of the 5 greatest coaches of all time, in my opinion. But then also he doesn't guard the inbound pass in 1992 with Grant Hill throwing the ball down the floor to Christian Laettner. It's like he has these moments. Like last year, Pitino, I thought, did a magnificent job resurrecting St. John's. And then the whole RJ Luis thing, let's take RJ out of the game. He's only our leading scorer and our best chance at, generating any baskets. And so Pitino has these moments in big games once in a while where he's almost so brilliant that I think he outthinks himself sometimes. And that was definitely the scenario again, the scenario, I think, of the UConn game, more so last year against Arkansas. I think Duke was better. But it was interesting that if you watched each Duke game, Duke could not put anybody away. They couldn't put Siena away. They let Siena hang around the last 3 minutes. Everybody kept hanging around. And I'm watching the UConn game. I'm texting Justin. I'm like, why are they I'm looking at the statistics. UConn is 1 for 17 from 3-point range. I'm like, how are they still in this game? Terrace Reed's the only reason they're in the game. And they just let him hang around.
Is that the diagram of a heart? I can't see what that is.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
It's that.
When we get that for next week, I could do that.
So wait a minute. Somebody's got a microphone. It's either an additional microphone or something that's rattling around, and it's driving me insane. That's it. Whatever you just moved was it.
I have what it was? My phone. I think my mic is coming through my phone, so I think it was leaning on the thingamajig, and it was making.
All right, that was it. It is gone. It was driving me insane.
Oh, sorry.
So I don't want to have to edit it all out. That's why.
Yeah. Totally.
So yeah, St. John's was interesting. Duke wasn't, no question, didn't have the same killer instinct. What I found amazing in the UConn game is that you think it was the coach being smart. It wasn't. It was the kids rose up and said, "You know what? We got this. Screw these guys." You know what I mean? And what's his name? Because with a K, I can't think of his name. On UConn, hits. First of all, he gets a penalty that I didn't think was appropriate. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a good penalty. They were fighting it out under there. What are you going to do? You're going to charge him? All right, charge him. So they give that out. Then he says, "You know what? Now you pissed me off." He goes out and he hits a long 3 that everybody said, "What are you shooting it for?" And it was nothing but net. And then he went, "Come on." Then Duke loses their timeout, whatever. Duke loses their focus and gets the ball stolen from them.
Yeah. Well,
incredible turnover.
They got the game in the bag. Yep. Layup over.
Well, first of all, your guy Carabin now, this is, if they make a run this year, we can talk about. Carabin has been clutch now he was awful the whole game. And that's the first three he hits of the game. And it's like Caravan had a terrible game into the last 57 seconds, and then he literally made just play after play that changed the course of the game. So go ahead, Musa.
That's it. I think they pissed him off. I think he got mad about it, you know?
Yeah, no, he's been clutch. He's kind of been their guy on the two teams that won championships. He always made big shots and things like that. The thing with Caravan though is it seems like he could have a terrible game, but he just steps up. That three was huge. That cut it to one, and then again, Demery went down. He missed the one free throw, so it's 2 points. They get the ball back. Can I walk through the play because the play itself totally fascinating.
Go ahead.
Okay. So. Sar's inbounding the ball. Sar gets the ball. And by the way, the inbound play that Shire had, people are jumping on Shire for losing this game. I thought Shire had the right play in at the end. He runs a press breaker, gets the ball into Boozer number one, the tall.
He didn't have a lot of choices.
Right, exactly. But they UConn doubles down. Now, if I'm thinking, why is UConn not fouling? Right? It's bizarre that they're not fouling. So they kick it to the middle, and then they get it to Caden Boozer. Now, at that point, you had two defenders in front, and instead of, sending one out, whatever, they jump trapped Caden Boozer. And Caden Boozer literally looked at him like, what the heck are you doing? And he dribbles once. This is what kills him. He puts the ball on the floor once, right? So now he's stuck there. He's either going to take a foul, jump ball, something like that. He freaked out. That one dribble changes everything. So he tries to throw it. He takes the absolute worst pass you could possibly throw. There's two guys from UConn two guys from Duke who are literally standing alone, half court, wide open. All he has to do is throw the ball up in the air. They catch it. Or he could have taken a 10-second. I mean, they didn't even have 10 seconds to take a 10-second violation. Could have been fouled. He's an 80% free throw shooter. Could have done anything. That one pass was the wrong pass to throw. So Hurley has him jump it there, gets tipped, comes back. But here's the part of the play that Caravan makes. It's brilliant. So Caravan gets the ball, and Caravan has a look at three with under 2 seconds left. Now, most people freak out in that spot and take a panic shot, but he's got Cameron Boozer standing in front of him. So what does he do? He turns around and pitches it to Mullins, who's 35 feet out, and fires it up, and it goes in. I mean, Caravan had a lousy look at the basket. He could have jacked it up, maybe got fouled. But the fact that he found Mullins in that spot is just that kid just has a knack for just incredible moments. And that
was a quick decision in a big spot. Yeah. Instead of forcing a shot and using a bad shot selection, he got rid of the ball to an open man, which was the right move. Has nothing to do with not having confidence in taking the shot because he dragged them to that finish line. Yeah. I think what you saw there was some savvy, veteran play, if you will, from a kid who decided at 17, 19 points down that we're not going out like this. And if this is my last game, or if this is the last game of the season, right, we got to start, somewhere. And after he hit that long three, I think it was, we can come back. They had the confidence to come down and shoot. And Duke showed their inexperience. I don't think, they're incredible. They're incredible basketball players. They're freshmen. So that showed they didn't know how to close out that game. Yeah. They panicked a little bit. They let the tempo creep up on them instead of slowing it down and, circling the wagons and trying to get the ball inside and just go tough to the basket. It just seemed like they acquiesced to what UConn was imposing on them. They were going to play UConn's game to finish out and hope that they win rather than, no, we're playing our game. We're going to make a basket. We're going to hold you off and win this game. UConn just took over.
Yeah. And not having Foster was a big deal for them. I mean, he played in the St. John's game. He looked like he could barely get up and down the floor, barely played in the UConn game. So, yeah, you end up having a freshman handle the ball. And they were, they didn't make a lot of mistakes. They had 8 turnovers in in the last something like 20 minutes of the game. So it wasn't like a disaster. It wasn't like they completely fell apart, but in that one moment, it just, Boozer just made this mistake that was, you could see it when he dribbles. He sort of panic dribbles and goes up to throw it. And it's like, it was a brilliant call by Hurley to jump the ball there because, let's say, again, their best shot was to get a turnover there. He gets a turnover somehow. They get a basket. They win. But the funny part is the kid Mullins from UConn who hit that shot. He had been the worst shooter in the universe last year. I mean, he was 4 for 23 in the tournament. Hadn't hit a shot all day. He was, since the end of February, he had been shooting a robust 17% from three-point range. Okay, so this is the guy, a freshman with the game-winning
19 years old. Yeah,
sure. Yeah. Just why not? From Indiana, just chucks the thing up. Nothing but net too. It just goes down like whoosh.
Shoot. When you don't have to think about it, you just catch and shoot. That's probably your best case scenario to win the game is not having time to think about putting the ball up. Just catch and shoot.
Yep. So and then in the I'm sorry. Did you want to keep talking about the game? I was going to say. Then we go on to the Elite Eight with two of my teams, Iowa and Illinois. I've had a thing for Illinois, and they play tough team, Houston. I don't care what they were numbered or whatever it was. They were a hugely tough team.
Yep. Held them to 55 points at home. I mean, that was Illinois played a great game. And the kid Wagler, I mean, in the Iowa game, Sturts had a fantastic game, but what Brad Underwood did extremely well is he made sure Sturts was going to get his. Sturts got 24 points, but Fulgeris only took 2 shots in the game. He really took the supporting guys away, and Wagler had an absolutely fantastic game for Illinois.
But Iowa had to get past Nebraska first, which is Nebraska, as we said,
it's like all the same weekend.
Yeah, right. They had Iowa and then I'm sorry. In Nebraska, Iowa to get Nebraska, and then they had to get past Illinois. I mean,
and that literally, it was like if all this stuff had happened over the course of like 3 months, I would have said, "Wow, that was a great 3 months." This was like since Thursday, like I forgot the Iowa Nebraska game, like that was Thursday, and it was a great game, and
not for anything, Illinois had to get past Houston, so at this point, usually what are you laughing at?
I got a text from a friend that said we all need to rock cool hats like Split.
I mean, I can go both.
Now you know why, Matt.
We need a prohibition. Prohibition. We're going to have a prohibition next week when we finally start talking about the Masters, we'll talk about you can wear that hat. Keep it in mind.
I would get a Masters hat. I like it.
So anyway. So, I mean, you're like, I mean, think about it. I mean, listen, Illinois played Penn out of the gate, destroyed them. Illinois played VCU. They beat them by 20-something points. But, and sometimes that could be your worst enemy because then you're in against Houston, which if you turn your head for a second, they're going to beat you.
That was a fantastic game for them. Again, I thought Houston had a genuinely unfair advantage playing what would have been 2 home
Absolutely.
games. But Illinois took them out of that game and really kept them there. And Kelvin Sampson's teams defend extremely well. They struggled to score. I thought Houston was going to win it this year because I thought that Kingston Flemings is probably the best shooter, the best pure scorer he's had. And they took Flemings away in that game. I mean, they really did. Houston was going to have to win that game in the 50s, and you can't win a game like that against against Illinois in the 50s. So that ended up happening. But it was something. I mean, like what a weekend, like that was just sort of like, yeah, that happened and this happened, and I mean, we had a bracket where we had St. John's playing Duke. Great game. Okay, then Duke playing the same night. We get UConn and Michigan State. And the winner of that Duke Michigan. Yeah, it's like this is. I love
this. I always loved Michigan State. My friend actually went there, so yeah. he had his shirt on when they won, and then let's go to the other side of the bracket. We started talking about Arizona. Arizona had to play Arkansas, which everybody said was tough. Didn't turn out to be tough for Arizona.
No.
And then they had to play Purdue, which everybody said was going to beat Arizona. But if you saw Arizona play Arkansas, you said to yourself, nobody's beating Arizona, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
No.
And now they're in the Final Four, and you talk about having to beat tough teams. Arizona's gonna have to beat Michigan, and to win, they're probably gonna have to beat UConn. Though I'd love to see Illinois upset them.
I mean, one of the things that's tough in this is I think the best two teams in the country aren't going to be meeting in the finals. I think the Arizona Michigan game is the best. That is the best game of the year. I mean, to me, those are the two best teams in terms of depth, in terms of versatility. I mean, they're two absolutely fantastic teams. There's 8 guys on on those teams who all could play in the NBA. They're really, really good teams. Right. And the problem is one of them is going to knock the other one off. And yeah, UConn gets an easier draw with Illinois. Not that Illinois is an easy team to knock off. That's going to be a great game. They're going to have to do everything to do that. But it's weird because if I don't think UConn could beat Michigan and Arizona, but I do think it's possible that they get there and have one more great night and knock them off. And I really didn't think UConn had a shot. But the fact that Michigan and Arizona that game is going to be a bloodbath. Those teams are going to beat each other physically, mentally. It's going to be an intense game. And then you got to come back 2 days later and play for a national championship against probably a very gassed up UConn team or maybe an Illinois team. But I mean, still, it sets up almost like this could be like the magical season for UConn again. Because they get one every 3 years now,
Yeah, but the thing about UConn, I mean, but for the last few seconds when Duke rolled over, and Duke wasn't the usual team, it usually is, but for that moment, they don't win.
I know. And
so maybe Illinois, I mean.
I think Illinois is a better team.
I think Illinois is a better team too. Are they better coached? You got a great coach at UConn. Can't argue that, right? Arizona beats Michigan. I mean, Michigan's no jumps, right? They're number one. They were probably, if you really asked somebody, they would have told you they're number one overall, except Arizona seemed to be peaking.
Yeah, for sure. Arizona was peaking, and Michigan had a couple of bad losses. I mean, they only lost 3 games. They lost to Duke. They lost to Wisconsin. They didn't finish the Big Ten tournament. So they're kind of like, on paper they look good. You see them play, and you're like, wow, look at these guys. They're incredible. They seem to have gotten stronger during this tournament, but Arizona is clearing away the best team left.
I think you do your team a disservice if you play beatable teams. For you, not necessarily. So Michigan played Iowa State. I really believed in Iowa State a little bit. I don't think they could beat.
Totally. Well, losing Jefferson, I think if they don't lose Jefferson, I think they give Michigan a good game.
And
I just
but Iowa State didn't play them. They play. Michigan played Tennessee. Yeah. Tennessee beats Iowa State. Tennessee beats Virginia. Tennessee beats Miami of Ohio, right? Mm-hmm. And Tennessee, Virginia, 79-72. Tennessee beats Iowa State by almost 15 points. And Michigan, they come in like they're tough guys. They hadn't played a team like Michigan.
And Michigan just absolutely torched them in that game. I mean, it was, I thought that Tennessee could hang with them. I really did. Gillespie's a fantastic scorer. I legitimately thought that Tennessee was good enough defensively, but just Michigan, when they want to score, they just score over and over again. I mean,
when they get in the groove, they're hard to stop.
So think about that again. So Texas Tech plays Akron. They beat them by 20 points. All right. Everybody's talking about Texas Tech. They got a little momentum. They play Alabama. Alabama destroys them, 90-65.
And Alabama had some controversy coming into this tournament.
Yeah, and so then Alabama plays Michigan, and they're a little full of themselves, and then they run into a buzzsaw because Michigan can almost do anything, anytime it wants. Yeah, so then they go to Tennessee, and now you definitely, like you said, I would say is UConn one of the historic, looking back, not looking forward, is UConn one of the best teams in the country? It's good. is Illinois. Illinois has proved a lot, but you can't argue Arizona and Michigan. They played tough during the season, and they got tougher in the bracket. So those are two of the tough teams. Neither UConn or Illinois is going to want to play either one of them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think the national championship may be on Saturday night when Michigan lines up against Arizona. I mean, that really is a great game. But
man, I hope Hurley's not watching this podcast.
Hey, he come after me anytime.
Okay,
I don't want to give him or his team any bulletin board material.
I'd love to talk. I was watching. Actually, I went back and I was watching him. It was a lot of fun. It was watching the tournament game he played in, where like they're playing Western Michigan, Western Kentucky, and like everybody was screaming at him, "Bobby's brother," and just like hassling him every time he touched the ball. And I'm like, well, that's why he's such a jerk. He's just But it's kind of interesting, like the whole brother angle, right? Like because you had Danny Hurley being the younger brother of Bobby Hurley, always in his shadow, and now you have the dynamic where like Caden Boozer is probably always going to be in the shadow of Cameron Boozer. So if there's actually one person in that game who could understand another one, it would be Danny Hurley looking at Caden Boozer thinking, oh man, you're going to be in the shadows the rest of your life, dude. You're 18 years old and you're Bill Buckner. And I hope I really do. I hope he goes out and has some good moments in his career. Like I honestly, I usually hate Duke players by default. Like everybody's just basically Danny Ferry to me, But like the of the 10 Duke players that haven't made me want to throw up in my life, 3 of them have been named Boozer. The dad was a great player. Cameron's a great player. And Cade's a fantastic player. Just that kid after the press conference, he's crying his eyes out. He's like, I blew it. I let my team down. He's not talking about the refs. He's not talking about, anything. He's just completely at 18 years old, standing there in front of the press, totally taking responsibility for it and not walking away. I mean, a lot of guys would never see a camera in that spot, but Caden stepped up there.
So here's the question.
Yes.
For the crew. If you had to pick a team that really let down, didn't play, really rolled over and really missed it, and had the people, the momentum to really make it happen and failed, who would it be? I know it's easy to say St. John's, but St. John's isn't as good as the others.
I think Florida was probably the biggest surprise in the tournament because
defending national champions,
going against an Iowa team that really had been good but not great all season, and that the Florida team was more talented, and a lot of people had Florida winning it, and they were gone. They were gone at the end of the first weekend. So I think they were the biggest disappointment probably. But of the last 10 years, I think only one team who's won a national championship has gotten even to the Sweet 16. So it's very hard to repeat. It's very hard to even get back to the Final Four or get back to the Elite Eight or the Sweet 16. So, it happens. But I do think, like, if you get your one team from the tournament where you're like, it didn't really go right. Florida was probably the best team in the country for a lot of the second half of the year, and they just really did not have a good game against Iowa.
And the other one I would say is Gonzaga.
Yeah, as seems to be the case,
I mean, they had your favorite team, Kennesaw State, out of the gate, and they beat them by only 9 points. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. And then they got creamed by Texas,
And they did. And, they were dinged up, but their best player, Graham Ike, really he was okay. He didn't have a great game. Texas was able, Miller's a good coach. He was able to really design sets to take him away, and they couldn't make shots from the outside. And so the Zags are gone again. And I keep thinking Mark Few's got to be one of the greatest coaches in college basketball, and he's going to get one some year. I just don't know what year that's going to be.
Yeah. And, Texas is a pretty good team. I mean, they gave a good run for their money to Purdue.
Absolutely. Miller's a fantastic coach. They were not a team expected to make the tournament. Justin is the only person in the universe who had Texas getting out of I don't know. There are people that didn't have Texas getting out of the first half of that game against NC State. Right?
Yeah.
And you're like
playing
Texas
means a lot.
I mean,
horns, man.
Listen, and Purdue, you want to say They should have went farther. Yes, they should have went farther, except that they had to play Arizona, and Arizona is without a doubt one of the best teams if in the top two. If you don't think they're the top team, they're in the top two.
Well, and what's interesting with Arizona is they're, what Tommy Lloyd is best known for. He was the main assistant for Gonzaga, and he was really one of the greatest foreign recruiters ever. So he was the guy who brought all those like Karnowski and those guys over on the Gonzaga team that almost won it. And so he's gone to Arizona, and you would think he'd be getting international players. He has some, but what he's done is he's gotten kids to stay. He has several players who are in their second or third year there, so they've built kind of a cohesive unit. And then he added in 2 freshmen who have been absolutely tremendous. So it's, I think Arizona is a team that's been built, I guess, more traditionally. It's not just a thrown together portal team. This is a team that's actually built together for a few years. And Lloyd's done a great job bringing them together. I mean, I think, though, Michigan's going to beat them. I think Michigan, I think it's a great game. Vegas has it at 1.5 right now. Not that people would ever. It's legal up by you, so it doesn't matter. But down here, of course, I would never consider wagering on a sporting event. But if I did, 1.5 is a nice line. I like Michigan in that game because I think it's probably even. But if I got a choice of Dusty May or Tommy Lloyd in a big spot, I'm taking Dusty May. He's a great coach, But I don't know. I mean, Justin, you got Michigan, right? I mean, you got to have Michigan. If you don't have Michigan, I'm changing.
I still got them. They're still on the bracket.
All right. I'm over.
Yeah, I mean, look, I told you from the beginning I was putting Michigan in the Final Four no matter what. And then when we spoke, I told you it's hard not to chalk, and I wasn't going against Arizona in that bracket. I think I got most of that bracket correct except for Tennessee. I had Iowa State out. That was the High Point bracket, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Michigan, can they play with Arizona? Sure. They're in the top 4 teams in the country. That's why they're a number 1 seed. Could Arizona roll them? I mean, Arizona's, they can score. I mean, they can play, I know that they don't play great defense, but they score at will. Michigan plays decent defense. Can they keep up with the Arizona offense? I think what you said last week is what's going to come to fruition in this game. If Michigan's going to win this game, who is taking the last shot?
Yeah.
And I don't know, they'll do whatever the coach tells them to do because they play pretty fundamentally sound basketball. And when he puts these directives in and draw something up, even on the sideline, they go in and execute. So there's no one guy, which, in this tournament, you need a guy. UConn found it in
a Michigan transfer in Terrence Reed. I mean,
Terrence Reed of all things,
Michigan right now.
Right.
I mean, like without Terrence Reed, they're done. Furman beats them. I mean, Terrence Reed had that 31 and 27 for them to win that game.
I'm pretty confident in Michigan. I mean, I am biased, obviously. On the other side, I think Illinois is gonna beat UConn. They lost to UConn earlier in the season by like 13 points, so they have experience playing them. They lost a couple of games that were kind of like head scratchers, but that happens as a team is growing. And once you enter this tournament, it's 6 wins to the championship, and they're four wins away. They're 2 wins away. They're there. They're in the Final Four. They're competitive. I still think the Big Ten is the class of college basketball. And we've got 4 coaches that, well, at least 3 that have never been there in terms of big names, if you will. Not taking anything away from Hurley, but he's coming out. These are all new, young coaches. These aren't the same old usual suspects. So anything can happen. I'm just hoping that Michigan wins at least one more game because I don't want North Carolina anywhere near my head coach.
Yeah, there is that. That's a whole other interesting. Like what does North Carolina do? I mean, because if they're willing to pay a football coach $10 million and nobody cares about football down there, what does a basketball coach go for at North Carolina?
Yeah, what's the Belichick equivalent of a men's basketball coach? I don't know if he's out there. I'm sure they'll be looking to, they're going to turn over every rock to see what's out there. But, I don't think Jay Wright's coming back to college basketball. I think for them, it's, who is attractive enough in the portal for these kids to want to come to North Carolina and stay there. So, it's a balance. And where they find that guy, it's North Carolina. So, would I be shocked if they were like, "Hey, we're knocking on Michael Jordan's door"? No, but do I think that's likely? Absolutely not. So they're going to get a name. They're not just going to go with anybody. And I think maybe two coaches left in this tournament are going to get a call.
Oh, absolutely. North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina had a coach who had a 700 winning percentage, won 20 games in his first 5 years. Got his team. His team was a few plays away from winning a national title in his first season, and he's gone.
Right.
So I mean, because he coughed up a 19-point lead, which coincidentally Duke did also, but nobody's calling. Well, I guess a few people do want Shea fired.
And NC State, was it NC State that just brought back the coach they fired 4 years ago? That was.
No, Will Wade went to NC State for a year, and then LSU, Will Wade got kicked out. He got a 3-year show cause, and LSU got him back in and was like, okay, he cheated here once, let's bring him back.
Let's bring him back.
Get FBI involved again.
It's kind of like the Alex and Joey Cora story with the Red Sox and the segue.
Well, I mean, this is the way I think you bet for the overall champion. I think that's the bet. And I think you place 2 bets. You place one on Arizona and one on Michigan. And you're not going to guess who's winning the Final Four, but whoever wins that is going to win the championship.
Yeah, I mean, personally at this point, and seeing that I'm 0 for 4 with my Final Four this year, I definitely am fulfilling my job as an expert. But since I've been wrong this far, I'm going to go a step further and say that usually the best team doesn't win the NCAA tournament. It's the team that gets hot at the right time. And UConn has got some weird mojo happening between Terrace Reed having the best 4 games of his life in a row, and the shot and the steal and all that stuff. I mean, remember, UConn won a championship with Kevin Ollie coaching, where their best player was Shabazz Napier, right? Like, they weren't even like one of the best 25 teams in the country, and they won that year. I think you get the hot team at the right time. A team just something magical happens, and all of a sudden they win a bunch of games. Just like the year Duke won with the, in '92 after the Leitner game. Like, I think it just, for me, the UConn team is going to somehow figure out a way to win this, and Danny Hurley is going to be the most arrogant man on the planet if he is not. And that is something really to look forward to, I mean,
what's hard to do with Michigan in the tournament? Their coach is pretty arrogant.
Oh, I love it. Did you see when they beat Michigan State? He brought the broom out. I'm like, what a jerk, But I don't know. I was cracking up because Nate Oates is complaining after the Alabama game because he's like, well, we didn't get to play. The Bediako, the big guy they had, didn't get to play. Like, if I was Dusty May, I would have been like, yeah, we didn't get to play Glenn Rice or Cassie Russell either. So. Like, I mean, I don't know. It was just Nate Oates he's probably going to be one of the finalists for the North Carolina job too, which could be as a recipe for disaster. I digress. Right. Yeah. I got UConn just because somebody has to, and because they're shining, and it's a moment.
And Justin, you have Michigan?
I'm sticking with Michigan.
I'll take Arizona, even though I want to take Illinois.
And the mask is going to.
I'm shocked you're not taking Illinois.
Arizona is a machine.
I agree. They're going to be tough.
So the mask has Illinois.
Mask. I like Illinois in this game. I think they're very talented. That Flagler kid is fantastic, and they have Peja Stojakovic's kid on the team, and that should really help. Go Illini. Sorry, I didn't know. I'm improving a little here. By the way, we almost had the exact same Final Four as 1989. If we had Duke in, Michigan played Illinois, and it was Duke Seton Hall. So we almost had 3 of 4 Final Four teams from '89, but that didn't happen. So we'll go with something else.
I got text from Dom. He's complaining he can't make comments. I can't really check it out right now, Dom. So, it's meant for chat, not comments. The live, the other one, the regular one, you should be able to put comments in.
Well, tell Dom tell Dom I'm currently with the hat. I'm trying to look like Howard Hunt. So if he wants to talk CIA next time I'm up there, we're talking some CIA. We're going to need some Operation Gladio, my man.
Hunt had big ears, so.
Yeah. What do you think? These are small?
Well, you got to look.
The only reason my ears
don't got a little pinhead, so I don't know anything's possible.
No, the ears are proportionate to the size of the head.
Yeah, I mean, not much I could do about it. It's sort of a Miss Potato Head thing. I can do,
So let it be written. Yeah. So let it be done. All right. So that's our story. We'll be back next Monday on that. And, I'll say I'm right and everybody else will be wrong, but that's the way life is.
3 weeks in a row, Keith. This is a residency now.
I know. This is like I'm a resident. I'm an elder now. I gotta honestly. I'm a mom next week or something like that. Or
what's funny is I hit my camera. Oh. What's funny is that I still didn't get it right.
Looks like it's moving.
It is moving because I'm hitting it, but because I had to open the lens a little bit because it started getting dark and I didn't put enough lights. Whatever. What I talked about to Justin, and I hadn't mentioned it to you yet, that I was thought about doing a little short Patreon where we pick winners, bets, those kinds of things. Don't do it on the regular program. Not anything that really makes money, but like, $1 or $2 or $3 or $4 or $5, whatever it is. And then we do a little segment where we say, we're picking this. This is why we're picking this. We're this and whatever. So maybe we could generate some Patreons. I'm more interested in the Patreons than I am in the money. So,
well, I'm a reverse tout basically. So I have this magical skill. Whatever I pick, the opposite happens. You put me on, I will give a great explanation for like what's going to happen, and then the opposite will happen, and you will make a lot of money, and I will look ridiculous. So I think that is my angle as a tout.
I don't think that's what I wanted to hear for this escapade. But thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. You got anything else for me? I mean,
what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the NBA a little bit?
No, God, no. Now that they're not doing strip club promotions, I'm not interested. No, but you got that baseball thing happening. You guys excited about the season or what? Do you guys talk baseball, or is it like does it take up time?
Do we talk baseball?
Like, do you even mention like the New York Yankees or the Metropolitans?
It's the most spoken word on this podcast.
Is it really? Okay. Well, I'm assuming I'm in Yankee
baseball.
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 Baseball. Baseball. Baseball. Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball. Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball. Baseball.
Wow, that was basically 2025. It was just baseball over.
You want to hear it again? You want to hear it again?
Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball. Baseball. Baseball.
It's the top word of 2025.
Baseball. Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball. Baseball.
Here's a better one. Listen to this one.
So have you guys kept your resolutions or? That's awesome. I love that.
Take me out to the ball game. Sung by Edward Meeker, Edison. Take me out to the ball game.
All right, we're not going to play that. I hit that.
Was that Edison himself or?
No, it's the guy he used. I don't know what else we have here. We have all kinds of things.
Like football coming up. See, I knew football would end up. You need like a remix, like with somebody like scratching in the background and like somebody freestyling over.
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna have Swedish.
There's another one, but I forget what it is, and I don't know what I said about it. Unfortunately, there's a Bigfoot one. Oh, there's Darth Vader. Darth Vader. Did you hear that one?
I mean, I want to use that as an alarm in the morning. Like I want to wake up.
No,
I
got a whole song.
Darth Vader,
Darth Vader about the wait. About the quarterback to the side. I'm not playing
was that you? Were you like a group? That was fantastic, Judge. You sound just like Rob.
I didn't do that. Justin.
Mark Maiden did that. That was the first song from our new music production company.
Yeah, Justin was sitting in traffic after the Giants game, and he used miserable. And he used AI and came up with that song.
That was absolutely fantastic. If that's not on the next Judas Priest album, I don't know. I don't think they should put it on the album. I just think they should do that song over and over again.
All right,
different
you ready? I have something we should talk about.
Okay, I'm in.
How about that Tom Brady told the press during an interview that he discussed with the NFL about coming back as a quarterback while still being the owner of the LA Raiders.
They really?
Yes. And they asked him what the NFL said, and they said, I think his quote was, "We don't think it's a good idea."
They can't afford the insurance.
Yeah, I agree. Justin, how do you deal with the Brady thing? Him being a Michigan guy and you hating Tom Brady? Like, does that?
No, I never hated Tom Brady.
You never? Okay.
So, well, I hate that the Jets didn't draft him. When I was sitting on my couch that Saturday afternoon saying, all right, it's the 6th round. It's time to take this kid from Michigan. He's got a big arm. Why not take a flyer? What do I know? What do I know? And it's the same thing every year. Me sitting on my couch saying, this is the guy, and the Jets draft Vernon Golston or, Wilson or, a light bulb from Tennessee. What?
Well,
that's why I burned all my shit and gave up.
And that was
good for Tom Brady. Did I know he was going to be a Hall of Famer? No, that wasn't what I expected. I didn't expect this tremendous 10 Super Bowl career. He wins 7.
Neither did he know he was going to become a Hall of Famer.
I just saw a kid from Michigan with a big arm and said, why not take a flyer on this guy?
It was so weird. That same year, I was watching the draft, and I remember it was like the 3rd or 4th round, and they were looking at quarterbacks, and I was like, the Falcons need to get Giovanni Carmazzi. And, they didn't.
I would have been happy with him, too, if the Jets had drafted an Italian quarterback. Why not?
Giovanni Carmazzi out of Hofstra. One of the all-timers,
man.
Why
not?
One of the guys drafted, him and Spurgeon Wynn were both drafted in, I think Spurgeon Wynn was drafted ahead of Brady. Did you ever see that the ESPN documentary on it where the people drafted ahead of Brady? It's hysterical. It's like, dude, it's like we're working.
Yeah, the 30-30 thing.
Yeah,
it's incredible. That is an incredible 30.
I mean, think about, look at Look at Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you don't want to say much, you don't think he's good. He's good enough.
He's
And
got a
not
good
only
coach,
that,
and he's
and
in a good system.
You look at his first season, you scratched your head before he got hurt the first time. I mean, you're like, this guy got picked last overall.
And
I don't know.
I mean, I struggle with it myself. I struggle with a lot of things though with the NFL, like watching it.
Izzy Diaz sent me a picture of Abe Vigoda with a hat on.
So wait,
I could be fish. I could be fish.
Do you know the story how we got reprimanded? Like our first or second
SEO. Yeah.
Our first or second
one time. Wait,
I don't know.
Jesse got reprimanded.
Ashbet. So I don't know.
Or what?
Our first or second, third, what a broadcast we were doing before the season even started, and they made all these bizarre rule changes about kicking, about stuff. So what I did is I downloaded them and recorded just the little pieces where they explained them on the NFL. So we posted the video at 9:00 at night. At 9 a.m. the next morning, I had a cease and desist email from the NFL.
Wow, dude!
And the only reason I think I wanted to use their thing, I didn't want to use it, but I couldn't. It was such a bizarre thing. I mean, like we could barely explain it.
Yeah.
So it's funny. So at the end of the email, it says, "But since you don't get any revenue from your podcast, we'll allow you to use it at the present time, and we'll notify you if we change our minds."
How gracious of them.
That is, I got to say, for me, in my former writing career, I used to write a lot about heavy metal, and a cease and desist order for me was like always the highest form of compliment. The greatest moment of my writing career was when I got a cease and desist order from Slayer. It was on, I had blown up on the wall. Like, it was like great because I wrote an article. Like, I used to write made up heavy metal articles, and I was like talking about them. I think like I wrote some article about them joining what was the church where the guy used to protest everybody who died? And you know what I'm talking about, Justin? You remember?
I don't know.
I remember you getting the letter. I don't remember what it was about.
And I wrote some article that like Slayer was they were protesting Slayer's. I have no idea. I just made some stuff
like
up.
something from like Mad Magazine, like a thing about Mad Magazine where you make up some story about somebody and print it in the magazine.
Yeah, well, I got very familiar with the definition of libel, Judge. I definitely learned a lot about that week.
You needed a disclaimer to say nothing in this article is actually true. I made it all up for entertainment value.
Absolutely. The problem is, if there's nothing you can say that about anymore because everything. I stopped writing satire about 10 years ago because everything I made up is not nearly as ridiculous as the present. So
it's true.
Yeah.
So you're a music guy?
Me? Oh yeah, absolutely. I was.
I used to manage two punk rock bands at CBGB's in Max's Kansas City.
I saw you wearing the CB shirt the other day. Who did you manage?
I don't want to say it because it'll bring a whole bunch of crap, but I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
Somebody famous, believe it or not. He left the band and became famous.
Oh, really? Oh,
really famous. Like he's still famous today.
Well, I had a stepbrother who was in a punk band called the Scarsdale Diet Doctors, which I still think is the greatest name for any punk band ever. And he had a guy who was like 3 feet tall who played bass in the band, and it was insanity, man. It was like, I like punk, but any Scarsdale Diet. Did you think we would get into the Scarsdale Diet Doctor thing today? I mean, you know the story I'm talking about, right? Like, am I
absolutely?
Maybe I made it up. Okay, good. Oh,
I'll remember the woman's name if you give me long enough. Jean, you're right. It's Jean.
Not Andrews.
No, I can't think of it.
Hey, Dom, if you know the Scarsdale Diet Doctor,
I'm sure he does.
That thing right away.
I'm sure
he probably went to school with her.
No, I'll tell you what. It's speaking of weird stuff.
I got it here if you want it.
What is it?
Harris.
Gene Harris.
Gene
Yes,
Harris.
Gene Harris. Very good. I'll give you one. Okay, where I'm sitting right now in Decatur, Georgia, I am literally 3 blocks away from a YMCA where Mark David Chapman used to teach guitar lessons.
Again, cross-pollinating the podcast. You're gonna have to be on with
gonna
Dom as a
love
judge.
that one.
I'm saying, man, like
You're gonna get a phone call tonight.
I got a friend of mine literally has a yearbook with Mark David Chapman's like, hey, have a great summer, blah blah blah, Mark David Chapman, and then he moved to Hawaii and then he got into the Beatles is probably the wrong way to put it.
So that means that church is by you too, right? The church that he went to?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, so like he's a Decatur kid. So like, we got our local legends. We got Mark David Chapman.
Well, you had a whole music thing. I mean, how far is Athens from you?
Athens, probably I can get there highly intoxicated and speeding at about 45 minutes.
So probably not that far away.
No, about 2-hour drive. The Bulldogs.
I have a Georgia story if you want to hear it.
Yeah, sure.
So my friend and I decided that we had nothing to do. I had like 2 weeks off or something. We're gonna drive down the coast of the United States. Well, I almost run out of gas on 95, and I get off at the wrong exit. We end up wandering around Georgia, and I see this gas station. I pull up, and I go inside, and like there's nobody around. I go inside. I'm standing by the register. There is a bowl of fried chicken with a light bulb coming from the ceiling, hanging above the chicken to heat it up.
Okay.
And
that's not a method of cooking I'm familiar with, Judge.
Yeah, it was already cooked. It was keeping it warm.
Not so easy, big oven.
And I'm looking in the thing, and there's in the refrigerator's like Mad Dog 2020 and something Ripple and something else. Guy comes out, he goes, "Can I help you?" And I said, "I'd like some gas, thank you." And I gave him some money, and I went over to the thing. And when I'm coming out, I see this guy pushing his car. So I run over to help him because there was enough room in back of me to pull up. And it was a little bit of an angle. It was a real old car. And I run up, and I'm pushing the car, and we get it up to the register. We get up to the pump, and all of a sudden I see like 8 guys standing in line just watching this guy push his car. It is at that moment that I realized that the guy pushing his car is black, and all the guys standing there are white, and they really look like we're coming out of Deliverance.
Oh boy!
And yeah, I'm like, they go, and I have New York plates or New Jersey plates on my bright red Z28 with a Corvette engine. Okay,
straight out of my cousin Vinny. I love it.
Straight out of my cousin Vinny. And the guy goes, "What do you come down here, boy? And you interfere with what we're doing or whatever?" Okay. Now my friend, who was also helping me push, is white, but he has dreadlocks. So I get a little bit of gas, and I say, "Let's get the hell out of here." We jump in the car. We end up going to Atlanta. I'm like, "Let's just stay somewhere overnight. We'll figure it all out tomorrow." We go into Atlanta. I said, "Just pick a hotel." I said, let's pick the tallest hotel we find." So they definitely have a room. It's like a Wednesday in October. And so I'm like, they're definitely going to have a room. Who's on vacation in October? So I pull up, I get out of the car, I go in. So I give my friend my American Express card. One of those fancy American Express cards back then. I don't even have American Express anymore. So I give it to him. I say, "Go inside and get us a room." So he comes back out and he says, "They're booked solid." Like, what? I'll go in. I take the card. I go in. I said, "Sir, I'd like a room." And he goes to me, "Absolutely, sir. Where would you like it?" I said, "Give me a suite, 2 bedrooms." I'm like, big shot. I said, "Oh, I have luggage out in the car." So he goes, "Okay, I'll send a guy." I said, No, I want you. I gave him $20, and I said, you help me with the luggage. I'd prefer it. So we go outside, and we get out to the car. My friend gets out. I was like, is this the guy? And he goes, yeah. I said, no rooms, huh? I said, my friend goes to grab his bags. I said, he'll take them, right? And he said, yes, sir. And he grabbed the bags and carried them inside.
That is definitely a disturbing part of Atlanta. Georgia in general, we have a bad history down here. But if you're curious, I do, this is a side gig I have going. Sharky's Machine was shot down here. So I do a tour, Sharky's Machine bus tour, where I take people to all the locations that it was shot. And I'm working on the Deliverance bus tour because right up the road is the Chattahoochee River where they shot it. So if you ever want to kind of get down and we'll reenact Ned Beatty scene and just chill. I mean,
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's just not my thing.
Be sure to like and subscribe and share with your friends.
Unless your friend happens to be related to Ned Beatty.
So I was like,
don't subscribe because I don't want to cease and desist order from Ned Beatty's kid.
So we're driving through Hoboken, Georgia, which happens to be where. Listen, I was 23 at the time or whatever. I'm 66, a long time ago. Happens to be where I bought my smokers made in the same town, which I think is hysterical. I have this huge smoker. You don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're going through, and I pull over, and there's a record store. My friend gets out. He goes, I'm going to go in there and see if they have the new album by the Butthole Surfers. I said, you are not going to do that. You get back in the car, and we're getting the hell out of here. Because it's like you think you're in the Wild West. It's a dirt road. You're waiting for the Clintons and the McCoys to come down and kill you.
And you're going to get the new Butthole Surfers record. Because the first thing I'm thinking in Hoboken, Georgia is what's Gibby Haynes got going on right now, right? They have one of my favorite album titles of all time, though. The Butthole Surfers have an album called Hairway to Steven, which there has never been a greater album. It's Stairway to Hairway to Steven. Or Electric Larry Land. That's for you, Rick.
And my favorite song is by the Dead Kennedys. What is it? Vacation in Cambodia or something like
Holiday
that?
in Cambodia.
Holiday in Cambodia.
I did not.
One of the great songs.
I did not think when I first talked to you like Dead Kennedys fan.
So wait a minute. So when they're saying, when they're in the background, they're going Pol Pot, Pol Pot. It's so funny. I mean, it's like brilliant.
Yeah,
Listen, I was at CB's when the Dead Boys electrocuted themselves. So I mean, I go that.
This about you.
I go way back.
You're like that dude with the Dos Equis. Like you're like the next most interesting man. Like you're a judge. You buy Butthole Surfers albums in rural Georgia.
My friends I went to high school with, they all say, "What are you? How did you do that?
Yeah,
how did that happen? We have these pictures." I'm like, okay, guys. So I mean, like, I was very young. I was very young. I got a job in the city at Fifth Avenue at some fancy shoe store. And the woman that I was friends with, who ran the store, son had a punk rock band, and we used to go see them. And he said to me, we can't get gigs at fancier places like Harrah's, which was uptown at 72nd, and Max's, which I don't remember where it was. It may still be there for all I know. And he goes, unless we have representation, will you pretend to be our agent? So I would go insane. Like I was really good friends with Hilly and the guy at the door with the construction hat. I don't know if he used to go down there. And the guy with the door, and I would I didn't have to wait online. I didn't have to do anything. We'd go down there in the day when we really got sidetracked here, but we'd go down there in the day and hang out, and there'd be writers, not from Rolling Stone. There'd be writers from Stiff Records, Stiff what was the magazine from England? I can't think of the name of it. I used to get it all the time. And
did you ever meet Lester Bangs? That was like my dream, was to meet Lester Bangs in like.
No, I don't know who I met most of the times, but the Hells Angels were there all the time, and people were like, it was really crazy. I saw Blondie rehearsing. I saw the first time the Talking Heads came in and played Psycho Killer for Hilly, and everybody was like, it just trip stuff.
Like, I don't know any of this about you. Like,
Saw Eddie Air. I went to see Nico and who was part of the Velvet Underground back in the day, and all that stuff with he was married to, I think, Robert Fripp, if you remember him, Music for Airports.
Crimson, but like one of my all-time.
You ever hear? So the album Robert Fripp, just sickest guitarist. I'm sure no one knows who he is.
I agree.
But unbelievable, and Nico was there, and Eddie Warhol was there, and like I'm like this little dumb kid from New Jersey. I had a 77 Pinto, and I used to go and drive, and I'd park on the corner by CBGB's, and they were all homeless men. They used to call them, Bowery men back in the day, all heating their hands by a garbage can with a fire. My friend and I used to bring him a case of beer. And I would give him the case of beer and say, you guys can have this. Do me a favor, watch my car. And we'd come out, and I'd have some more beer in my trunk on a cooler. And we'd come out at breaks, and we'd sit around a fire thing with the guys, and we're drinking beer with them during breaks. And they all, like, I knew everybody on the block. Like my mother and father would have rolled over 15 times over if they knew where I was. But
I mean,
dinner at Phoebe's on the corner.
Fripp. I mean,
Robert Fripp.
Oh God, King Crimson is so good. I'm like obsessed. Okay, if you ever want to do the like history of King Crimson episode of Sports Talk, I'm in. I could do any era rock and roll with Robert Fripp. I love that stuff. I even listen to that Fripptronic stuff where he plays one note over and over like a
music for Airports. Great album.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And I got Justin texting me now.
Yeah.
And I mean, Justin, you're funny. And that whole time period, I mean, Tough Darts, television, Robert, who was the guy from television? It was great. What are you killing a cat over there?
It's ritual sacrifices later.
Okay, film at 11. You ever see Tunnel Vision with I'm wearing no pants? Film at 11. So,
Rams plagued by fumbles as earthquakes rock Los Angeles. Film at 11.
Catholic girls go bad.
Oh man, you're good. Kentucky Fried Movie. I'm impressed. Okay, Judge, I'd
love to tell you the story about that, but it's not meant for the air. But I did go on a first date with a girl to a triple feature. It was, I can't remember the third movie, but it was Kentucky Fried Movie and Tunnel Vision. And there was a third movie, but I don't remember what it was.
Kentucky Fried Movie for years was like the funniest thing I had ever seen. I think I watched it too much at this point, but the Fistful of Yen thing is still like
that's the Asian guy with the flamethrower.
Yeah, with for the hand, and he's like,
they take a mock of kung fu movies with what's his name? The famous guy.
Oh, Bruce Lee. Yeah, it's supposed to be a parody of that.
And they do it great. And then it becomes, so they're doing this whole mock of the Bruce Lee movie, and then the guy wakes up in bed after he's been knocked out or something, and it's in black and white, and it's the end of Gone with the Wind, of The Wizard of Oz. And he's going like, you were there, and you were there, and you were there. And they go, oh, you must be dreaming. All of a sudden, the guy's arm falls out, and you see the flamethrower. Now I remember that from seeing it when I was 18 years old. Can you imagine that?
that movie, there's another part to it where they have all of a sudden it randomly becomes an episode of the dating game in the middle of a kung fu film, and they're introducing the characters, and the first one is like, this probably isn't good for air, but you can edit it out later if it's too much. But like the first character is Long Wang, and the second character is Well Hung, and the third character is Enormous Genitalia.
You're right. I will understand that out. Thank you very much. All right. I think we're not going to go back to sports at this point. Yeah, thank you all for coming. We'll see you next week. We have anything? Because I can't transition this to Justin railing on that the Yankees put tampons in the men's room. I can't.
We're gonna edit this out, and we'll go on a
we
rail.
can't transition to his complaints about that.
I just want confirmation that it's the New York State law, and why not the Mets are not doing it.
It's a New York City regulation that any restrooms open to the public, which I don't think applies to the Yankees.
Nor do I.
Yeah, but I'm a legal mind beyond words. And that I think that but any public restroom, according to New York City regulations, has to have tampons, and I think they have to be free for men that have from women who transition to men and still menstruate.
Okay. Well, did they pass something where they're? I won't say that.
All right, we're gonna leave it there.
I don't want to
let's
get
go
ahead. No glory hole lines out of me today. We'll move on.
Come next week, and we will go back to talking about sports now that we've digressed about as far as we can. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Been an honor. Later. Salud.
See you next week.